So I, again, went through Gamma, of course, because I find Gamma to be very helpful, and it created me this awesome little presentation that I'm going to share with you guys when it comes to 90-day business reviews. So let's first start off with 90 days. Like, what is this Goldilocks window for business reviews? Why we like to do 90 days? It's because it's the perfect balance. It's enough to spot the real trends inside of your business, but short enough to pivot quickly when something isn't working. You're not doing a 6-month plan. You're not doing a 5-year plan. Like, granted, you can have those, but as you know, business always is changing. So if we can have a good amount of time where it's not too long, but it's also not too short, where we don't have enough data, 90 days is that perfect in the middle time frame. There's 4 metric categories that you guys should be really paying attention to when it comes to your business in these 90 days frameworks or these 90-day reviews. So acquisition. So how many leads are you guys getting in? What are the different lead sources that you guys are rolling out every 90 days? So that's every quarter. And what are the conversion rates on those as well? So you guys should be tracking these metrics, because if we don't know our numbers, you can only change the data at which you collect. Essentially, like, if you want to improve, you have to have the data right now so that we know how we can improve. Otherwise, if we don't know our numbers, we don't know what to improve upon. Revenue. So acquisition, revenue for your monthly reoccurring revenue, average client value, which is your, like, essentially like your LTV ish, and then revenue per source. So like, all right, so how many people are coming in through this one lead magnet? What is that conversion rate? That's our revenue per source. You can get down to the nitty gritties. There's going to be certain things that you're like, I'm going to leave that until I'm really advanced and really can spend the time on the numbers. Some things you're just going to want to do more surface level, especially to start. Retention. What are your retention rates? You guys know your churn rate, your lifetime value, your cancellations, and then operations. So like, how much time does it take per client to do things? Whether it's onboarding, whether it's your calls, like, what is that time to value ratio? Or what are your profit margins? And if you have a team, what is that team capacity? So you know when you're going to need to start hiring again. So going into the acquisition piece. So where are your clients coming from? We want to track these numbers because it's going to be your total lead generated from lead sources. You're going to be able to see your conversion rate, which is, again, super important, because if we're trying to fix a lead problem, but we have a retention problem, we want to focus on the retention problem. But in the opposite, if we are fine with retention, we're able to keep clients for 5 years, but our business isn't growing, we're probably having a leads problem because we're only signing up one person per month. So let's focus on the leads. Knowing which channels bring you quality leads will help you double down on what works and cut out the 90% of the BS that typically goes out. So a 20 to 30% lead to client conversion rate is strong for most fitness businesses. So if you have a lead magnet and about 20 to 30% of those leads start to convert over into calls, that's a pretty strong lead magnet. Let's double down on that. Maybe throw some money behind that boost, whatever the case may be. So with that being said, you can understand your income streams. That's a pretty much given. In turn, you're going to be able to review your monthly recurring revenue. Just be graceful with yourself and patient as well. A lot of people try to sell everyone on monthly, and it's like, all right, well, if someone wants to do a pay in full, like, let them. I would highly recommend doing some recurring revenue. It's just nice to at least have, like, even people who are like, I want the recurring revenue, I just like to have the basis covered. Like, get the bills paid, especially if you have a team. Like, get that overhead covered so you're never taking away from your own income or out of your own pocket to try to pay your team or stress out. It just allows you to get that, like, mental freedom. Like, everyone talks about, like, time, location freedom, but it gives you a mental freedom where you know, like, the first of each month, we're good. Average client value, so your total revenue divided by your number of clients. So that's your average client value. We can track that. And your revenue per lead source, that's kind of going into the UTM tracking, so you can actually see who's paying what. And then you can even get into the, like, who's the highest paying client. And maybe that's from your Facebook. If you're talking to women and maybe you post some things on Facebook and some on Instagram, but the Instagram leads get you lower paying clients. Maybe they're 25-year-old females who can't afford a $500 per month subscription. But from Facebook, you get the women that are in their 60s and they've had a job, they have the income to spend $500 a month. Maybe you want to double down on that because they're higher paying leads. And that's, like, the beauty of being able to track all this stuff. Some of this, again, will be over your head. Sometimes it's just something that you need to start doing now. Let's go into some retention stuff. Retention is one of the biggest things when it comes to business growth. Because if you're a rotating door, one person comes in and one person goes out, If you sign 100 people this month and 100 people leave, like, yeah, great. You have 100 people to onboard. That's 10 times more work than just keeping the 100 people that you already had inside of your program, making you more money in the long run. And not to also mention, a lot of people spend money on CAC and ads and all these other things. So you're paying all of that extra money out to get the 100 clients while 100 clients are leaving. Churn is one of the biggest numbers to help you scale your business, because the longer we can keep clients, the higher the lifetime value, the more money we make per client. That comes down to a few different things, whether it's your coaching, whether it's the deliverables, just the results that people get. There's a plethora of different reasons why people cancel. But if you can start pinpointing or asking the people that are leaving why they're leaving and figure out that issue and solve it, you're going to bring your churn rate down. I wish I had numbers with me, because the numbers are like insane. It's kind of like investing at the age of like 20 versus 30. The amount of money difference 10 years later at the age of 40 you're going to get from investing just 10 years earlier is insane. Same concept, but with your retention here. So your target monthly churn is around 6%. So I want you guys to start shooting for monthly churn rates. So essentially what a churn rate is like, let's say if you have 100 clients and 2 people leave that month, that would be the percentage of people leaving. So you'll be able to find it that way. With the retention goal, figure out how long people are staying with you. Is it that 6 months, and then when that program ends, they just leave because you don't have any after program, or you don't have any goal setting posts when they hit their goal weight? How do we get them to constantly think into the future for the next 3-6 months in our program so they stay in? As long as you're tracking some sort of data to get you closer to retaining more clients, as the middle number says, you want to keep around 85% of your clients through their first quarter, at least. That would be awesome. If you have fall off before then, we got to talk. And then our average client lifespan, 12 plus months would be ideal. Obviously, you guys will all have numbers across the board depending on what you're looking at and like at what time and the packages that you offer. But average client lifespan should be around that 12-month mark, if not longer. I know some people that have stayed with coaches for 3-5 years. You probably have some. All right, so tracking. So we can track custom fields for lead sources via the UTM parameters, which is going to be inside of the AR advanced course. Pipeline reporting is a great way to track things as well. If you guys have any ideas and things that you want to add to your pipeline, I know some of you guys have different variations of the pipeline as the time has gone on. So with that being said, if there's anything you want to add to the pipeline, just hop on office hours and we can build that out for you. Just let us know like your idea, and then we'll brainstorm and then make that happen. UTM tracking integration as well, of course. Very similar. Custom fields for lead sources. That's going to be something if you want to do it manually and manually like tagging people or updating that information. UTM is going to be a little bit more automated once you get those links set up, because there's going to be different links for each place. And then revenue snapshots. This is going to be inside of Stripe or the payment processor that you're using, so that you can track your MRR, client value, revenue source, or the AR dashboard as well. That's just some tracking metrics. All right. So let's go into, because you can collect all the metrics and then be like, cool, I have a bunch of numbers. We're done. But that's not going to be very effective. It's kind of like reading a book and then forgetting everything in the book, or not actually going and implementing everything in the book. The point is to read the book and then go and take action and implement it. So with that being said, we're going to first and foremost collect the metrics. We're going to identify the patterns that are inside of your coaching business. I guarantee you each and every one of you have your own unique patterns inside of your business when it comes to the data. And then we're going to take action on the things and the patterns at which we see. One of the biggest skills that you can learn as a person in general, and Tony Robbins says this all the time, is to learn patterns or pattern recognition. And this goes for the same inside of your business. Whether it's your own personal habits or your business habits, we got to figure out these patterns so then we can course correct. What good looks like steady or increasing lead flow. So obviously we want more leads. That's where I feel like a lot of coaches focus on, but they don't focus on churn either. So they're just like leads. And it's like, well, you have a 30% churn rate. Let's fix that. And then we'll come back to the leads. So our conversion rates are going to be above at least 20%. Growing MRR month over month. So as we scale up, our MRR should scale up as well, slowly. Churn rate staying under 6%. You will probably be above 6%, and that's okay to start. But our goal is going to be 6%, and then our profit margins above 40%. We don't want to be spending that much in business. We want to be able to save and have for those rainy days, so to speak. But we do want a good profit margin, especially for a coaching business. You guys got like AR, trainer eyes, and maybe one or two other things that are pretty low in cost. You guys don't have much overhead. Let's keep those profit margin as high as possible. The red flags to address. Lead quality declining. Are you guys hopping on calls where they're like, what do you do? Who do you work with? What are we here for? Not a good sign. Not a good sign. Revenue growth, but retention dropping. So we're seeing our revenue, but retention of clients is dropping. Not a good thing. Red flag. One lead source subtly drying up. What it means by this is that you have one lead source and it kicked, and then you're riding that wave. It's kind of like a viral video, right? And you're like, yeah, it worked. Like, keep going up, keep it going up. Or like the stock market people, like up, 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 like to the moon. And then it actually starts declining, but you just keep hoping that it's going to bring in more leads, and then it just keeps declining because it's getting old, it's getting stale. Let's put out something new, something fun, something that was going to really target our ideal client. And then time per client increasing without revenue gains. You guys have this problem solved because you have AR. But if there's things that are increasing your time with your clients and you're like, hey, I feel like I'm just drowning in client work, let us know and let's see what we can automate for you or get off your plate. All right. This is your 90-day review process. So first and foremost, I want you guys to block off 2 hours on your calendar every single 90 days and treat it like it's your most important client meeting. No rescheduling, no booking over. I know myself, so I know you guys. So I know me. I would be like, oh, I can take a 30-minute call in the middle of my block that I put for my business review. Nope. You're blocking it off like if you're talking to someone. You're talking to your business, guys. You're going to pull these reports every single month or every 90 days. You could do it every month, so you could prep for that 90 days for like 30 minutes and then a 2-hour block every 90 days to pull these reports. But you're going to export that data from GHL, your payment processor, your scheduling software, anything and everything that you're using. And then you're going to try to spot patterns, figure out what's going on. What are some of the wins that you're having inside of your business? Maybe your churn rate is 4% because you just have a bunch of besties, and I don't know. However you manage your business, you have a 4% churn rate, but you're only signing up 3 people each month. Let's focus on those leads. But maybe you're seeing the leads increase and you have a churn problem. Like, we're going to really dive in deep and spot these patterns. And then I want you to create 3 specific action items to improve those specific metrics for next quarter. So spotting the patterns of what can I work on or what's concerning in my business, and then what are 3 steps that I can take this next quarter to bump those numbers up. And then you touch back in that quarter and you see if what you did worked. We don't want to overdo this or keep rolling out new things each and every week, because you need to really let things sit and simmer in business. People think that business is really, really quick, which it is. But when it comes to actually collecting data and having enough data to be able to work with, you're going to need to take it a little bit slower and only do a few different tweaks. It's kind of like if you go back to high school, when you did a science experiment, how many variables did you change? 1. You always change 1 variable because everything else needs to stay constant, so you could see if that 1 variable actually made a difference. Same thing with business. So some common review mistakes. So as you guys are doing this, you're tracking vanity metrics like social media followers and website visits. Those are not going to be the things that pay the bills or converts or whatever the term you want to use is. We want to focus on the actual leads that we're getting. So name, number, email. Focus on the full leads. That's why that new dashboard inside of your AR account, inside of the dashboard, there is full leads. That is not including your Instagram DMs. Because they're technically could be leads, but they're not actual leads. You don't have their information. You can't just call them. You can't just email them. So focus on the leads. No action after review. You review and you're like, cool, a bunch of numbers. It's like punch of pretty flowers, and then you walk off. Like, no, we actually need to take action on this. And this is why 3 specific action items for you guys is going to be super influential, especially if I have a notepad and you stick it on your computer. So every single day when you're working, you're looking at the 3 metrics that you want to track, or the 3 action items that you want to take action on. Is a constant reminder. And then you're always comparing to others. Do not compare yourselves. I feel like one of the biggest questions we get from other coaches are, what are other coaches doing? Which I understand the purpose of the question. It's more so like, give me some ideas so I could get in some more leads. Like, please help. That's essentially what you're asking. But we do not want to compare to other coaches. Like, other coaches have probably had so many other different things happen in their business. They've gone through different problems. Their ICA is different, so your problems are going to be different. Maybe they've had just longer periods of time inside of the online space. So you don't ever want to compare, but you can always look to them for advice or look at their business as inspiration as to what they're doing. So your next step after this call is going to be setting up your first 90-day review right now. So with that being said, maybe you want to start from the beginning of the year. I know it's only February, so maybe you want to plan this at the end of March. And you just want to see like where you're currently at. And then at the end of March, when you take those 2 hours and you really dive into the data and you see how the first quarter went this year, you're going to be able to give yourself those 3 action items, but you're going to have really good data to start because you haven't done anything yet to change anything because you don't know your metrics. So in March or whenever you want to do this, you can plan it for next week if you like and look at the last 3 months from next week. But with that being said, I want you to actually block this off every 90 days on your calendar to take a look at your metrics. And that is all I have for you guys today. Awesome. Well, if you guys need anything at all, you know where to reach me. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a fabulous rest of your week. Otherwise, I'll see you guys soon. I just want to say thank you so very much for taking the time to watch this video. If you are a coach or consultant looking to streamline your systems and scale your business with Go High Level, we're here to help. AR Funnels specializes in custom funnel systems built specifically for online coaches and consultants working currently with over 350 clients. If you're interested, click the link in the description so you can learn more about how we can help you scale your business and save you time with AR. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.